The secret geometry mandala frame took me 4 hours to make, and I'm going to show you exactly how I started it and how you can easily implement such a luxurious detail in any of your artwork. Such frame can be easily made square or round based on the design of your mandala. I'm placing the dots by the line inside using a 3mm rod. There will be microdots in between, so keep the same distance for all of the dots you're placing. As you come close to the end of the row, just eyeball the distance left and right so that you can fit a certain amount of dots without leaving spaces or piling them on top of each other. In some cases, you can make the space with a pencil to be more precise. For microdots, I'm using 1.6mm stylus. Don't go over the line, keep everything inside. We want the negative space, the one that is not covered with paint, play its own role in the design. You dip the stylus once in paint and place 2 dots. 1, 2. I'm starting with the outer line because I want that line to be perfectly straight with the same size dots. And keep going at your own pace, again finishing up the line. The next row, we're using 4mm rod. Doing the same thing, leaving space for the microdots. I'm using the same size stylus, just starting with the outer line, because that line is more important for the whole design to be perfectly straight and even. Keep going until you're done with microdotting the outer line with dots. Keep the stylus available as we will need it as we're filling the middle part of the frame. The size I'm using, 2 size rods. One is 6mm rod and the other one is 3mm rod. Okay, we're placing the first dot. Load with paint enough so that you have enough paint to drag, and use the stylus. I use 1mm end and drag the swoosh the size and the length you want. I'm measuring the space for the next dot to place. This is 3mm rod, and I'm using the stylus and dragging the swoosh the length and the shape I want. It can go any direction, any size, any length. This one I'm placing next to the end of the longer swoosh and going the opposite direction. You can go back and adjust your swooshes and fill the space. Here you can see how I'm using only the stylus to fill the space. Place the dot and drag, make the swoosh the size you want. And adding just dots for the smaller spaces where I can't make swooshes. Here I'm going back and adjusting the size and the shape because I decided to fill the empty space with thicker swoosh instead of going with that. And again, placing bigger dot, loading with paint, and dragging the swoosh in a different direction. I don't want them all go in the same direction. That's why I am stepping out and coming back in and just having fun by applying those scattered swooshes. As I mentioned before, you can make this in a round form, round frame. This looks beautiful around on the outer edge of your mandala. This one I chose to make as a separation frame inside of this sacred geometry mandala, where I'm making round shapes, square shapes, and triangle shapes. This is being taught in my Patreon class. If you want to see the whole video and the whole mandala creating process, feel free to join my Patreon group. You can find the link in the description of this video. I like my designs to be very intricate. That's why I choose my tools on the smaller end. Although these can be done with any size tool based on the space that you have to fill. As you can see, I'm placing smaller dots and dragging smaller, making smaller swooshes. It is completely up to you how you want to fill the space. Again, I like my art to look fine. My pace is pretty slow when I dot or make a design like this. I'm trying not to make mistakes or mess. And I'm trying to go with the swooshes as close as possible to the previous one. That's the beauty of it. Try to keep the distance as close as possible, but don't touch them. And you can always go back and adjust the swoosh that you made before. The previous ones are going in the same direction, so this one I stepped out, placed a dot, and going back was making the swoosh. There's no recipe and there's no plan. As I said before, just have fun. Have fun with filling the space. Going slowly around or stepping out and coming back in. Using my finest tip stylus, which is 0.6 millimeters. And at the end, making bigger dot, filling the space, going the opposite direction. This is the frame that we made, one side. Check out the description for the links.